fresh off the press. And I think I'm going to give away one. So here's my question before I call up our keynote speaker here. There are two key people in Black history who are known as Black Moses. Can you name those two people? If you can, two people. There are two primary people who are named Black Moses. I mean, what? He's an album called Black Moses, I agree. Harriet Tubman and one, and who else? There's a second. I'm going to give you a hint. Pan-Africanism.
Marcus Garvey?
There we go. Oh, there we go. So, Marcus Garvey and Harriet Tubman. So, I do have one more to give away. So at this time, I'm going to call up our keynote speaker, State Rep Quentin Q. Phipps. You do have his bio, but I do like the idea under second sentence here. Takes pride in championing equitable solutions for all. And I do think that is something that should not be taken for granted. All people matter, right? Amen. It's important to ensure that you are served in the community, regardless of what it looks like. So this time, I want to call up Mr. Q. Phipps.
Thank you. Anyone can hear me. So I think it's afternoon now. So good afternoon, everyone. We're going to try that one more time. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
So that's a lot better. So I'm from Middletown. So I'm Quentin Q. Phipps, newest state rep, day 50th on the job. So I am glad that everyone is. Well, first thing, let me take a step back for a second. Some of us really not like me because to come after several commissioners that I've looked up to for many years, specifically, I still call Mayor Jackson, and Senator Bai, people that when I was on P&Z, when I first started getting involved in politics, and the incredible speakers that they are, and then a sister on Florida, that was amazing, right? And the tap dancing and the dancing. I'm not sure whose feelings I hurt to follow that. But I am thankful to be here. And so once again, thank you for saying hello and good afternoon back. I'm a member of Cross Street A&E Zion Church, one of the largest Black churches in the city of Middletown. And making sure that people are awake and aware and are right with you in the spirit is incredibly, incredibly important to me. So first, we're just going to use this. We're going to use the hand mic. This thing ain't working, and that's fine. We're going to be adaptable with that. Is this better? Can you hear me now? Yeah. So yeah, we're not going to keep playing with that. So one of the funny things about being an elected official, I've been 50th on the job today. I think it might be 51. But when I go to the Black Young Elected Official Conference, a lot of my fellow officials from DC and DMV and Atlanta and all the other wonderful type of cities throughout the entire country are always like, there's Black people in Connecticut? So I wanted to make sure that when we recorded this and we get this online, that they knew that we actually have Black folks here in Connecticut. I don't think is my baby sister in the audience? Is Millie here? I haven't seen her yet. So Millie is not here, but I wanted to thank Millie for helping make this connection and to adding. This is incredible to see this display of Black achievement and Black excellence and Black love and Black joy. I didn't see you before. Good to see you, sister. And this is an absolute wonderful work, and the team that she put together and coordinated is just absolutely, absolutely incredible. And I wanted to take a specific moment to really thank Black women. If we stop this program right now, if we took out all of Black women's work to make this happen, if we stopped and said, you know what, we're going to stop the state right now, right? We're going to have not a single Black woman work in the state of Connecticut right now, our state was shut down. It was far too long women have saved our country and our households and our families from ourselves. So I want to continue to thank you all the sisters and aunties and mommies and grandmas and G-mas and all of you for doing the work that it takes to be frank. And I want to specifically thank my mom, Queen Williams, who some of you may know. She was a 1199 member at CVH and RBS for 30 plus years. The Williams Wing and RBS is named after my mom, who is still the person that I look up to most. She was a tireless servant for CVH, helping protect our most vulnerable in the community, which many of you have all done for years and years and years. So I really want to make sure that we are thankful and acknowledge and recognize the work and achievements of Black women. So I think I'm up here today was asked to speak because I am the first Black state representative in Middletown's history. No offense and no shade to my good friends in Simsbury or Avon, North Saybrook or Guilford or Weston, but we have a pretty large and active Black population in the city of Middletown. Middletown is a city that reveres and loves diversity. I mean, we have tons of restaurants on Main Street. We have Wesleyan in our community. We have UTC, and we have Cross Street Zion Church, the church that is, we're at 200 plus years of history and service to that community. There is just tons and tons of work that we have and people and attributes. And I am still in Middletown, the first Black state representative in our history. And that is a moment of great pride and joy. And as Congresswoman Hayes talked about being the first Black woman Congresswoman, she talked about the other day, saying that's also a great point of pain, right? That to be the first and knowing all the steps that it took and all the obstacles and challenges you had to overcome. But I will also say, as she shared, that I know I will not be the last. And I am truly, truly proud of that. I grew up in Woodbury Circle, which is a Caravetta apartment on the south side near Xavier, not too far from Middlesex Community College. At that time, about 500 apartments. There were 10 Black houses, like still days to this day. There was Cody's house, my house, Child's house, so on and so forth, right? I can name the number of Black households in that apartment complex. And there's two things about living in Caravetta that I want to talk about really quick before I continue. One, the reason that we only had 10 Black households back in the day was that it was essentially redlined, where once again, this is an apartment complex, and technically a low income or moderate income apartment complex that if you were Black, if you were Latino, pretty much if you weren't white, you couldn't get in. So if we couldn't buy homes and we can't rent in low income housing authorities, I don't know where Black folks were supposed to live. But here I was, one of 10 Black households in Woodbury Circle. And recently a good friend of mine here in Hartford, he made a major announcement at a Caravetta apartment too. And he talked about living in that experience and how that helped inspire him to want to be in community service and public service, very similar to my story. So it was not lost on me the other day when a mother shared how she lost her son in a Caravetta apartment just like I lived in, where he was murdered at their doorstep. And there was no cameras, no one spoke up. His murderer, I think, received 5 years for the loss and the stealing of a Black life. And it's hard not to forget how easy it would be to be in that very similar position. So it reminds me of today, where it's one of my most prideful things I like to talk about, but it's also one of the most painful, that at my barbershop. So shout outs to Vern. We've been cutting my hair since I was in seventh grade, sixth grade. Who's always taking good care of me. But oftentimes in the barbershop, they'll say, "Hugh, we always knew you were going to make it," which is super, it's humbling, it inspires you. But there's also that other side note, right? Where they recognize that many of them always knew they weren't. And that's too often in our communities where we recognize those that are going to. And I said, it's not that I was special. One special thing that I had is that a mom that was willing to sacrifice and do whatever she could to make sure that I was doing well. But more importantly, I had several different opportunities and got kind of lucky. And where did I live? What school did I go to? Had one extra mentor. I went to church. Like all these small, minor things to help me get there. That a lot of my friends and I call them family from my barbershop that they just didn't have. And those one small little asset makes me wonder if if they could be where I'm at, right? Or what it would have taken for me to be where they're at. And that barbershop takes good care of me. That's how I know it's important. I forgot to make an appointment, and for those that don't know about how important black hair is. See, my sister right there already looks at me like, oh, yeah, right? Because you can lose a job because of your hair. In our own military, you can get kicked out for having the wrong hair. It's important. So if you forget to make an appointment, you're in trouble. So I texted him this morning about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I said, brother, I forgot to make an appointment. I have to give a talk at 12 noon. Can you sneak me in? He goes, for my first black state rep, yeah, we got you. So I go to get in the chair, and he tells one of the cousins from the barbershop, and he goes, I know you have a 9 o'clock appointment, but we gotta get Q in. He goes, oh, you're doing something as a state rep? Oh yeah, you're fine, you're good. And it's that pride and that joy, knowing that all the things that our community has gone through in order to get someone like me, essentially a broke kid from Woodbury Circle and 212 Woodbury Circle, to get to be the first black state rep in Middletown's history. It's a community effort. We all have to sacrifice. We all have to give. We all have to challenge. We have to work. And it comes with both great pain and joy to see that happen. And I will never forget how much joy I have in serving, because folks won't let me forget. I was walking in to the Capitol the other day, into the LOB, and I was thinking, Can't Nobody Stop Me Now, and I was just jamming. And even today, I'm pulling, I listen to my music loud all the time. And I listen to Mary J's Real Love, one of the remixes. And I walk in, and I like to just, even when I unplug, I want to keep on playing. Yeah. And I come into the front door and into the front gate, and the security up front is like, oh, you're the one on the poster. And I was like, yeah. She gives me a high five. She's like, come on in here. And I've never seen this sister before. But once again, to know this achievement it's not my achievement. It's not Middletown's achievement. It's not just my family's work. It's all of us. It is our collective experience in making sure we know how important this is, that having different voices and different perspectives is very important as we're fighting for all the different things that we need to overcome. So when I think about migration, it reminds me of just being on the move up, right? Being able to come up and overcome and do better. And I think about one of Newton's laws of physics, that objects in motion tend to stay in motion unless acted on by another force. And I was thinking about the many assets and resources of our ancestors in Africa, right? So Timbuktu, and Kush, and Carthage, and Egypt, and Kemet, and Mali. Now, one of the things that I'm recognizing right now is there's a lot of blank faces. And folks have no clue what I'm talking about. Right? These are some of the most richest empires in our world's history. The emperor or king of Mali would have been having an equivalent of about $14 billion in today's dollars. And we don't know that history. So when we see the inequities in our schools, when we know that there's an opportunity gap, an achievement gap, and we know that we have a criminal justice system that disproportionately puts our black and brown boys and girls in jails way more than everyone else, and then we have no clue what Kemet is, and what Mali is, and what Carthage is, and what Timbuktu is, I think there's a direct connection. That we lost that history, we lost those resources. And I think it's a direct connection that had we had that knowledge, that information, we would have tended to stay in motion. We still would have been rich in spirituality and rich in resources had it not been acted upon by another obstacle or another object. So what I would challenge us to think about is how we can go back to moving forward and having that forward motion, that forward movement of some of our greatest empires in our world's history. Because I think we often forget that the sciences of like the Pythagorean theorem of Greece and the libraries of Alexandria and so in Athens and a lot of their military strategies were all directly stolen and taken. And matter of fact, they weren't even stolen and taken. That's the other crazy part about it. They were freely given from our libraries and from our colleges in Africa. So I wonder if it had not to see that what we so richly gave, which is what we still do to this day, give and give and give, and know that we still see things taken from us. And it's painful to recognize. It's painful, painful, painful to recognize. So I recognize that the progression and the migration that we see could still be catapulted if we didn't have our stuff continually taken. And I look at where we are today, and it was all, and most of it, almost all of it, was brought through, I said, our forward movement. So the irony is not lost on any of us when I think about all that we have to gain in our global community. So I think about the migration of Connecticut, and specifically my own story in many ways. I talked about my household, where my mom is from the South, she's from Warrenton, North Carolina, but grew up in South Jersey and Cape May. Or actually, it was called this one. I really had to start saying what it was called. Her real estate was called Whitesboro, New Jersey, which was essentially a black enclave right outside of Cape May. So Cape May was on the beach, and Wildwood is where the boardwalk is. We had a small little black town, predominantly farmers, called Whitesboro, which is where my mom was from. And a lot of, so where my grandmother and grandpa had their house, where they went from sharecroppers to working in numerous hospitality jobs, like many of my family members did. They went from sharecroppers to deaconesses in this small town called Whitesboro. And my dad, who I don't talk about often, but I think that's okay. He's a Jamaican immigrant. And I see, fellow West Indian, I see? All right, now, I know it's more of us. Because one of the things I love about being from what I call Greater Hartford is that I always tell folks that I'm from the third largest parish of Jamaica. We call that Hartford. There were more Hartford than there are in Ocho Rios, right? So I, as much as I may not still talk to him, I still talk to Uncle Doc and Uncle Soji, who still pray for me and look out for me each and every day. And that experience of knowing that I have my dad's side, who came over with just essentially a t-shirt and shorts on to Brooklyn, and then made it to Hartford, and as he said, he made it, so he went to Bloomfield, and then he went to Meriden, and knowing that migration and that pattern, and that story is pretty much every single one of our stories in this very room. And my mom's story as someone from the South, and then went to Cape May, and then went to school in northern New Jersey, went to Philadelphia, another city with great black history and music and food. The city was too small for her X's, but she tells me I never asked what that meant. But it's led her and both my dad and my mom here in Connecticut. So I think about that story because that move from the South to the North, or that move from the West Indies to Greater Hartford, is a story that is definitely not unique. I said I can see all the head nods in the room. That's many of our stories. And it's one of the stories that helps make Connecticut the awesome place that it is. Because I would wonder if we took away the experiences from the South and that rhythm that we hear from, I think that from our own very heartbeat that's in our music from the churches, and then was in jazz and blues and moved to rock and hip hop and reggae. And I think about our food. I know I'm keeping everyone from lunch. What if we took away the spices and the ingredients that we had to use in order to make food that was sometimes, I would say, barely edible? This is one reason that we have the health problems and health inequities that we have in our very bodies right now that we had to use in order to survive. But if we took away the paprika and the garlic and the cinnamon, the black pepper, and the cumin, all things that came from our motherland, if we took that away, would we have the Connecticut in the country that we love? Matter of fact, we'd have a very bland place, which is why they stole it in the first place. So it's that dichotomy of both pleasure and pain, of knowing that we should have great pride in what we've been able to give and share, and that migration that we all did together. But it comes with so much pain. I think that's really part of this sort of Black migration process that we have all been through. And not, once again, I'm not just talking about my fellow Black and brown people. I'm talking about us all. We have to recognize that the pain and the travesty of being stolen from our motherland, or when we're moving because we had to, because we were redlined, or we couldn't get housing, we couldn't get a job. That pain hurts us all. It hurts us all. But that pain and that overcoming and that triumph is also where we're going to get better. So when I think about where we're migrating to next, and what are the issues of today, and I think about our fight for higher wages and the fight for 15. And you can hear the clamoring that we need to get paid more, we need to get compensated more because we can't afford this. And I'm like, yeah, Black folks have been saying that for a long time. We should be paid fairly for our work. And if we took away the voice of the Black movement and the Black labor movement, it'd be a much quieter voice. Matter of fact, I would say the voice would almost be, I won't say non-existent, but we would need to really hear those whispers. Because the Black labor movement without Black voice and that Black migration doesn't exist. When I think about our paid, like we're needing paid family leave, I don't know how my mom and my Aunt Neil especially have done it over and over and over again, taking care of sick family members. My Aunt Neil especially, who recently passed away, took care of my grandmother and grandfather, who were being ravaged by Alzheimer's and cancer. And so she had to take care of the family and then work 2 jobs. She essentially was a healthcare worker for a doctor, for a doctor's mother, and she worked as a nurse and a cook. So she essentially had to work 2 to 3 jobs and then come back and still take care of her family, which is incredibly unfair. So when I think about the fight that we have right now to keep our families healthy and safe when it's needed the most for paid family leave, I think about the story that we all know for far too long. When I think about how we need more affordable housing, once again, I think about had my mom not known that one coworker to verify or give her validity to be able to rent the apartment in Woodbury Circle, I wonder where we would be. When I think about the inequity in our education system, or even my own city that I love, and some of the schools that we tout as some of the best. If you're a black or brown child in the 3rd grade, you have about a 34% chance of being able to read at grade level when you're in the 3rd grade. And that's one of the ones that we talk about how awesome it is for black children. These are the sort of results that if you did in some of our more affluent and wealthier towns, people would be fired. But in my hometown, in my own home district, in a school that I mentored at and love and with great pride, even my own alma mater of where I call myself a Bobcat, we tout and we put on a pedestal results that I said in many other communities would not, I said would literally get people fired. And it's that pain and that obstacle, that challenge is what makes it difficult. But one of the things that I really appreciate about migration is that even as think how terrible things are from where you started and where in the past, things can get better. Right? There's hope in that migration. There's hope in that movement. There's hope in that progression. There's hope in that progress. So I am thankful and I'm hopeful that the same city that I truly love. So they brought me to a place that I couldn't even imagine until you were Circle. But I know through our work and through our hope, through our joy, that where we are at today is not where we're going to be tomorrow. And we are going to do that through the same sort of love and appreciation and joy that has got us through much worse than this. So I'm excited. I'm excited because when you have a big obstacle and you get past it, you can look back and be like, I did that, right? So when I think about getting past 300 years of brutal cattle slavery, and I think about getting past Jim Crow, when I think about the movement of civil rights movement, when I think about how much we got past and knowing we're just at the next step of where we're going, I think we can have great joy in that hope. So I thank you, and I thank you for this opportunity for letting me share a little bit. I ask that you reach out if there's anything that I can help out with and be a partner, an accomplice in the fight together. As I said, I know we have a hell of a lot of work to do. We have a heck of a lot of work to do. But I am here with you hand in hand in that fight. I will be right there on the front line with you in that fight. And I appreciate the opportunity to serve by your side. So thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy.
I'm Amanda, and we will be reciting a poem called Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wondered where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies.
I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman.
That's me.
I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say it's in the fire of my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me.
Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breast, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me.
Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud.
I say it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need for my care. Because I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me.
Thank you so much. I wanted to just say that the insurance carriers in Connecticut, they all cover every 6-month cleanings. So that's included. So you don't have to worry if you have, this is only if you have insurance. And for children, it is covered from 12 months. So they want you to be seen, like she said, when the teeth come in. So what they decide is at 12 months. So all pediatricians, we start pushing oral care at 12 months. And at that point, you should look for a pediatric dentist, not a dentist that sees your entire family, not a general dentist that sees kids, because they're going to say, come back at 3. No. In the state of Connecticut, all insurances, Huskies, private, they cover oral care for children starting at 12 months. And when you find yourself a pediatric dentist, it's like I'm a pediatrician, you wouldn't take your kid to an adult doctor that happens to see kids. No, you go to a specialist, because I'm a specialist, a pediatric specialist. So you go to a pediatric dentist so that you avoid a mouthful of caries that they have to get pulled out. Those kids that are walking around like 6 with no teeth, it's because they got dental caries, cavities, because they didn't start at 12 months. They were drinking all kinds of soft drinks, going to sleep after eating and not brushing and not flossing. And what happens is, instead of capping, they'll just remove them. And then they have to wait for the permanents to come down. So I just wanted to come behind our dental specialists and say that for pediatrics, because that's what I know, it is covered from 12 months, and you have to go every 6 months. No fail.
I just wanted to say, just kind of listening to everyone speak, at the core, like at the bottom of a lot of this is the need for the unlearning in our communities and the relearning. Why do we hold these thoughts that, around, I need to have like a colon screening. Oh, there's something about that area of my body that is just culturally so charged. Where did we get these teachings and these thoughts about our health care? Why do we avoid, whether it's mental health or physical health? That came from somewhere. We have to remember where we started in this country, where there were people who told us that we were nothing. We were not considered humans. And so a lot of our thoughts, a lot of our behaviors comes out of that sort of teaching. And so it becomes where we don't even fully take care of ourselves, and we have created these cultural norms that where there are so many other racial groups that are accessing these cares daily. When I look at even my clientele, even when I'm at the hospital and seeing who comes in for care, everyone else understands that this is a priority for life, for quality of life. But our people, we are continuously behind because someone told us, and we are not being conscious of where these teachings came from, and we believe that we don't deserve it, we shouldn't have it, it's not good for us, it's negative, it says something about our identity. And I think that's why as Black individuals, we continue to be most affected by a lot of these different healthcare issues. And so we have to acknowledge the teaching that was poured into us so that we can start to prioritize this sort of healthcare that we need so that we can really live the lives that we are supposed to be living.
Agreed. So at this time, we've discussed a whole lot, and I'm gonna probably ask about 2 or 3 questions from the audience, and then we'll end.
Hi, my question is, first I want to commend you for your passion that you have for your profession. I can see that coming out in your speeches. But one of the things I'm concerned about in terms of the disadvantaged community and the parents who are not, or more focused on providing for the basic needs for their children, are not sometimes thinking about as a primary, their teeth, or they're going to their pediatrician unless something is wrong. Are any of your guys in any initiative that is proactively looking into preventative and information sending home through the school system to the parents?
One of the great things about Connecticut is called Husky. Almost anybody can come to Connecticut and get health insurance for their children. So through the schools promote Husky. They have enrollers that go to the schools, help the parents enroll their children in Husky. Once they get into Husky, Husky is amazing in that what they do is they do a lot of outreach, which provides direction. Okay, so your child doesn't have a primary care physician. Here's a list of primary care physicians near your house that you could see who would accept your insurance. For me, we need to have providers dead center in the community, not leaving the cities and going out into the suburbs. They need to be in the cities where they're accessible by the bus, walking, because all these young ladies, they'll walk their little children with their strollers down the Ave, come to my office. I specifically am in New Haven where I am for a reason. I could have moved out of New Haven, taken my practice somewhere else years ago. But the reason is because of accessibility. To be able to come to a private doctor, not all people have to go to a clinic setting. It's not for everyone. They don't have to be, and I always say cattle driven into that type of situation. They deserve to have whatever type of doctor they choose. So once you have doctors that feel like they have roots in the community, I don't care what color you are, black, white, doesn't matter. They have to have roots and drive to provide equitable care. Once you have families coming in to these types of practices, it becomes a network. I have mothers that come into my office without their kid. I made an appointment. I said, for you to look at this. What are these papers? Is my landlord trying to evict me? What are these papers? Is my kid getting expelled from school? So we need providers in the community where the insurances are driving them to these providers, the families, and the provider has to take an interest in what they're doing. It's not just give a shot and see you in 2 months. It's socially, emotionally engaged. The school systems do that. They do drive. I know I serve on the Board of Education of New Haven. We have clinics within our schools that act as almost that safety net to, okay, so you keep coming to see me at the school clinic. Let me talk to your mother. Do you have a primary care? You don't? Oh, well, Dr. Campbell has a practice right over here, and that seems to be kind of where you live. You should call and make an appointment. So as far as New Haven is concerned, yes, there is a push. There is active engagement in making sure that children are engaged with a pediatrician. And once they hit a good pediatrician, like New Haven Pediatrics, it's all she
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. First of all, this question is for Dr. Campbell. You always I'm sorry. There's a number on the back of the toothpaste tube for poison control. I assume that's for fluoride, and if it is considered a poison, why is it in toothpaste?
So fluoride, if too much of it is ingested, it could be a poison. One issue that I've seen before is a lot of times in people's when people are trying to prevent cavities, let's say the doctor said, oh, you need to put some fluoride, you need to have a fluoride gel, or you need to have fluoride varnish or something like that. Most communities have fluoride in their water, okay? And so if you are drinking water from the faucet, not bottled water, and there's fluoride in it, and then on top of that, you are having fluoridated toothpaste and using a mouthwash that has fluoride, and then when you go to the dentist, every 6 months asking them to, do that's sometimes, especially if you're below the age of 8, there's a window of time where if you ingest too much fluoride, it could be toxic, and you could also get fluorosis on some of the permanent teeth, okay? So if you're concerned about ingesting or having too much fluoride, first of all, I would see if you have, if you're drinking like tap water or water from the sink, see what the fluoride is for your community.
I boil hot water.
You boil. So I don't know if the boiling removes the fluoride. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't take my word on it. But I would first at least see what the fluoride levels are in whatever community that you live in, and then also bring that to your dentist. If you are at a high risk for cavities, meaning that you have multiple areas of decay in your mouth, multiple fillings, you are going to be more likely for your doctor to recommend having some type of like fluoride varnish or fluoride treatment done, okay? But if you're not at a high risk for cavities, your dentist is not going to recommend any type of like extra fluoride. So when I see patients, for instance, that are, I would say over the age of 18, and I don't see any cavities in their mouth, or they have fillings and they don't have any active areas of decay, I'm not going to be like, oh, we need to put fluoride on every night, you need to have the fluoride mouth rinse, the fluoride toothpaste. It's really a lot of things that factor in if they need fluoride to begin with. So it's the caries risk, is there fluoride in the community, and things of that nature. Also, there's even tests when you go to your dentist, they can check your saliva to see if there's a bacteria that causes decay, Streptococcus mutans. That's the type of bacteria that causes decay in your mouth. There's tests. I even got swabbed once. Some people have higher amounts of that bacteria in their mouth than others. That's why you may have a colleague, oh man, I eat Skittles during lunch, I drink coffee with sugar, and I don't never have any cavities. And then here you are over here brushing and flossing every day, and every 6 months you go to the dentist, they find another cavity, and your nerves are tore up. So, everybody's different. So you kind of have to find what works in your case. And you can best do that by asking your dentist, hey, what's my risk? Checking to see what the community fluoride level is where you live, and go from there. So,
Thank you.
We have one last question.
Okay, first I want to say thank you for having me. This was wonderful. I always like an opportunity to engage our community on this level. I think one of the first things that I feel our community needs to do is that we need to close ranks. And by that I mean we have to accept each other for who we are. Accept people for themselves. Allow them to live their lives. And don't let people from other communities come in and whittle away our trust of each other. Like, say something that makes you look at someone, look at them in a demeaning manner, and treat them differently. You don't see too many other communities who allow outsiders to come in and whittle away at their foundation. If we're strong and we continue, I say close ranks, I don't know if that's the right word, but don't allow people to come in and whittle away at our foundation, and then we'll be able to continue to build, just like all other communities. You don't see anyone else allowing us to go in and break up their foundation and then go on in and mess it up. No. We need to continue to build, strengthen our foundations, and don't allow people from other communities to come in and drill it.
I actually really liked the gentleman's question because I also own a faith-based nonprofit, a social justice nonprofit organization, and so equity and the biggest thing that I would say is we need to create. When I look at suicide rates continuing to increase amongst our children, our adolescents, mental health is off the charts. When we look at our children, I think it's imperative that we start creating institutions that are tailored to our needs, and that will then help us to continue to move forward and to expand and to grow. Because a lot of times what happens is we work in other spaces where there's not the room or you don't have the voice to then push what's needed for our people in whether it's mental health or physical health or whatever it might be. So I think my hope is just to continue to create spaces, create interventions and organizations that prioritize our needs, that understand our history, understand the obstacles that continue to impact all these different factors that we've spoken about, so that we can actually get to the success, the quality of life that I believe we all are in need of and should have access to.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Tiffany said, I think one thing from a dental perspective that's important is to dare to be different, and like Tiffany mentioned, create. At my previous church, I had never did this before, but it was during the month of dental awareness that they had me speak, and it was just a little nugget talking about the importance of oral health and brushing and flossing, basic things that most people you would think would know, but some people don't know. And whatever your field may be, or whatever your expertise may be, you may not be a dentist, you may not be a doctor, you may not be whatever, but whatever you have expertise in, use that and educate those people who are under the influence of your circle. Like, you don't have to be some great person, just be you. Use the gifts and talents that you have and use your sphere of influence, and that could be the stepping stone to being a difference, at least where you are. And if everybody does that, there will be change all around us, and not just, in one place, or not just waiting for somebody important to do something. You are important. You can be the difference, and use what you have. You don't have to have $1,000 grant or all. Use what you have and make a difference with that. And so what I have and what I've been trained in is dentistry. And if somebody has a question, or if there's something that I know that can help somebody, I'm going to give that information. So that's kind of what I think would be something that can help bring about change.
For me, I guess my goal or vision would be for everyone to have the information that they need to make the appropriate healthcare choices. And to answer your question, I think one thing that would really help that is, for me, I'm very big on social media. I have Twitter and Instagram accounts. I use Instagram a lot more than Twitter, but I'm pretty active, I'd say, on that platform. And over 65% of Americans obtain some healthcare information from social media platforms. And so, people can get all this information about whatever teas or essential oils from these platforms that they do, then why can we not also provide, appropriate healthcare information on there? Each month there's different healthcare awareness months. For example, March is coming up, colon cancer awareness month. And so, I take those opportunities as well to spread healthcare information. And if you put something out there, someone tells their friend, oh, wait, I saw this online that says, I should be getting my colonoscopy at 45. Social media allows us to reach people who previously would not have heard the information. So use that as a platform, each of us as providers, to spread information, and knowledge is legitimately power and wealth. And so if we can spread knowledge, use all platforms available, all sources of media available to spread accurate information.
And yes, there's certain nuances in Black culture that just it permeates, right? So, for example, my wife is from Oklahoma, and we go down there for Thanksgiving, and so you can just imagine the spread. But bottom line is, every time her grandma put the greens, I'm like, Grandma, you put your foot in them greens. I'm like, you think about it, logically it doesn't make any sense, but hey, that's Black folks. It's nuances. Yes. At this time, we have a spoken word, Simone Robinson.
That's what everyone in focus.
Simone.
Everything that's in focus.
Hi, I'm Simone Robinson, and I'll be performing two poems. The first one I'm performing is Land of Hope by William Ross. I've watched the trains as they disappeared behind the clouds of smoke, carrying the crowds of working men to the land of hope. Working hard on southern soil, someone softly spoke. Toil and toil and toil and toil, and yet I'm always broke. On the farms, I've labored hard and never missed a day. With wife and children by my side, we journeyed on our way. And now the year is past and gone, and every penny spent, and all my little food supplies were taken away from rent. Yes, we are going to the north. I do not care to what state, just as long as I cross the Dixon line from this land of southern hate. Lynched and burned and shot and hung, and not a word is said. No law whatever to protect, it's just a person dead. Go on, dear brother, you'll never regret. Just trust in God, pray for the best. And in the end, you're sure to find happiness will be mine. The next poem I will be performing is One Way Ticket by Langston Hughes. I pick up my life, and I take it with me. And I put it down in Chicago, Detroit, Buffalo, Scranton. Any place that is north and east and not Dixie. I pick up my life, and I take it on the train to Los Angeles, Bakersfield, Seattle, Oakland, Salt Lake. Any place that is north and west and not south. I am fed up with Jim Crow laws, people who lynch and run, who are cruel and afraid, who are scared of me and me of them. I pick up my life and take it away on a one-way ticket. Thank you and have a great afternoon.